Coming up on OU Nightly. Iran launches missiles into Israel. How the U.S. and Israel could react. Port workers are striking across the country. How that will impact shortages on certain goods. And Hurricane Helene rescue efforts continue as the death toll climbs. This is OU Nightly. Today, Iran launched a missile strike on Israel. The strike included over 200 missiles targeting cities across the country. Hello, and thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Sofia Cabrera.
And I'm Chewy Dominguez. We begin tonight following these missile strikes. Air raid sirens could be heard over Israel as Iran launched an aerial strike on the country. According to Israeli officials, most of the missiles were intercepted. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken discussed America's support for Israel in the midst of this attack.
This is totally unacceptable, and the entire world should condemn it. Initial reports suggest that Israel, with the active support of the United States and other partners, effectively defeated this attack.
Israelis are reporting no casualties, and a spokesman for the IDF has assured the strike, quote, will have consequences, end quote. This comes amidst escalating tensions between Israel and Hezbollah and an Israel ground insurgent into Lebanon.
Thousands of dock workers across the country are striking, demanding fair wages and better benefit. Laura Aguiar is following the story.
They are taking it all the way to the picket line. Nearly 50,000 members of the International Longshoremen's Association went on strike at the stroke of midnight Tuesday.
We're out here for one reason, fighting for our rights, fighting for our families.
Our members have done the homework. They know their worth, and essentially they demand fair wages and better benefits.
But after weeks of tense negotiations with the United States Maritime Alliance, acceptable numbers on that worth haven't been reached. The alliance, which represents the major shipping lines, terminal operators, and port authorities, has offered wage hikes and claims the union isn't negotiating in good faith. Many members feel sacrifices made during the pandemic are being overlooked.
We didn't stop working. When the world went home, they couldn't go nowhere, the longshoremen, we worked these docks night and day.
Docks that are now at a virtual standstill along the U.S. East and Gulf coasts. This could stop the flow of a wide array of consumer goods into the country.
You're probably going to pay more for it, and it's going to take longer for you to get it.
The union says it won't be intimidated by a timeline.
Our membership's prepared to wait it out as long as it takes to secure a fair contract.
But the ILA's president does have a prediction.
We'll bring this country down in 3 weeks. Now it's time I want a piece of that pie for my members.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
Labor experts say the White House can invoke the Taft-Hartley Act, which would force these workers to get back on the job. President Biden has said he, quote, doesn't believe in Taft-Hartley, and workers can slow operations to a crawl if they are forced back to work.
And tonight we know 133 people are dead from Hurricane Helene. Supplies are arriving in North Carolina and Tennessee, many of them having to be carried in by mules because roads in the mountains are so heavily damaged. Many areas are without electricity, cell phone service, food, and even water. With homes and businesses damaged and roads out, folks in the area are depending on nonprofits and the government to help out.
I think we're all just trying to figure out what's next and how to take care of each other. I mean, there's nothing else we can do.
The Homeland Security Department says as many as 600 people are not yet accounted for in the area. And Oklahomans are helping with rescue and relief efforts. Oklahoma City Fire Department say their Task Force 1 has rescued 4 people and 3 dogs. OKC Fire deployed the group to North Carolina in response to Hurricane Helene.
And our coverage on Hurricane Helene does not end there. OU Nightly's meteorologist Aiden Bruns is expanding on Helene and possible future disturbances that could come after the hit. Aiden?
Yes, Chewy, absolutely right. Seeing storm impacts from Florida all the way up through Virginia. Not looking too great. Here in the red are counties with the most people without power, and seeing South Carolina is one of our highest areas, over 500,000 power outages for them. And looking into the forecast, we've got some more areas to watch here in the Gulf of Mexico, as well as just south and to the west of Mexico. We're seeing some possible disturbance could be developing within the next 7 days. We're looking at live radar right now, so we're going to continue to monitor this into the future, but a little bit closer to home, we are quite warm and very dry compared to our other friends in the southeast that we're worried about right now. Staying in the 80s for us. And coming up in your full forecast, I'll go over the warm conditions, how dry we're going to be, as well as when we might be seeing some fall colors.
Thanks, Aiden. New information tonight about just how long mold may have been present in the Norman Central Library and what the City Council may do about it. The City Council will meet in an executive session in just under an hour to discuss the next step it will take regarding the issue. The library has been closed since last November after significant amounts of mold were discovered inside. Oklahoma City TV news station News 4 reports that it has documents showing mold was present since before the building was opened. News 4 sources say the result of today's meeting could be a lawsuit against the construction company.
And happening tonight, vice presidential candidates face off in their first debate. OU Nightly's Oliver Schaefer has that and the rest of today's national headlines from the News Center.
This is the first debate between GOP Senator J.D. Vance and Democratic Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. The candidates will have 2 minutes to answer the question and then 2 minutes to respond. CBS, who is hosting the debate, says it reserves the right to mute candidates' microphones. That will not happen automatically. The two men could get the last word in as Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump have not agreed to another round. An attorney out of Houston says Sean Diddy Combs may soon face new allegations from over 100 men and women. The attorney says there are plans to file a civil suit. 120 people claim to be victims of Diddy with allegations including violent sexual assault, rape, compelling prostitution, and sexual abuse of minors. Combs has been indicted on federal charges including sex trafficking. A sad day for baseball fans as the legendary hit king Pete Rose has passed away. In his 24-year playing career, he left an indelible mark on baseball history by setting a record with 4,256 hits. Nicknamed Charlie Hustle, he won 3 World Series along with the National League MVP award. Jimmy Carter is making history today, being the first president to celebrate his 100th birthday. The 39th president visited the University of Oklahoma in 1976. We'd like to thank the Oklahoma Historical Society for this photo. Celebrations for Carter are happening all across the U.S. as 4,000 students sent him a hand-drawn card. The White House has commemorated the historic day with decorations. Sophia, Chewy.
Thanks, Oliver. A museum that was once free to the public is soon to change their admissions policy. Find out how much it'll cost next.
And newly revealed cancer data that could affect thousands of women coming up right after the break.
Attention art lovers, today is the first day that the Fred Jones Museum of Art reinstates its entry fee. According to the museum's website, it will remain free for all students, faculty, and anyone 17 or under. The entry fee is $12 for those who do not qualify for free entry. However, they say admission is free for everyone on the second Friday of each month. The reinstated admission fee aims to help with improvements and changes to the museum they hope will enhance the experience of museum goers.
And the American Cancer Society estimates more than 310,000 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer this year. CNN Mandy Gaither has a look at the new data and what experts say needs to be done to close the disparity gaps in today's Health Minute.
It's good news, but also bad. First, a new American Cancer Society report reveals overall breast cancer death rates have plummeted 44% in the past 35 years.
Which is really a dramatic decrease. And we think that's, over 500,000 breast cancer deaths have been averted, which is really spectacular.
But researchers also discovered an upward trend in breast cancer incidence, with the steepest increase in women younger than 50, rising by 1% each year between 2012 and 2021, and Asian American and Pacific Islander women of any age increasing in that time by up to 2.7% a year. The report also says that while more white women are diagnosed with breast cancer, more black women die from it, especially young black women.
So if you're a black woman between the ages of 20 and 29, you're really 2 times more likely to die of breast cancer than your white classmate or your white colleague.
Dr. William Dayhut believes screenings and new treatments have led to the overall breast cancer death rate drop, but he says closing the disparity gaps for all women will take more research.
What is driving the cancer risk, whether it's obesity, changes in childbearing habits, or really whether it's a lot of it may be driven to really access to the right kind of care.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
In an effort to address ongoing cancer disparities, the American Cancer Society launched a study called Voices of Black Women.
And this winter, prices for heat will go up as temperatures will go down. Find out why and which heating units this will affect when we come back.
And coming up in your full forecast, we'll go over the extended forecast with temperature and rain trends coming up. Welcome back to OU Nightly, and thanks for joining us, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Looking out on our weather center cam on South Campus right now, seeing a lot of sunshine. We're pretty calm. Temperatures are pretty steady right now in the mid 70s, pushing 80, which is right around average for the start of October. But to look at the other conditions, we're feeling a little bit cooler at 79 degrees, but our dew point is quite low, 46. So we are feeling a bit dry, not a lot of rain in the area. And then we've also got some stronger wind gusts today, seeing 14-mile-per-hour sustained winds out of the north-northwest. So keeping our eyes on that. Current conditions throughout the metro, seeing a pretty similar story in right around that 80-degree mark. A few 70s here or there. Statewide, seeing some 80s as well, pushing the cooler 70s to the northwest. Guyman at 71, Woodward 74 right now. So a little bit of a mix of that from our winds out of the northwest. The wind gusts, you might have noticed them today throughout the day, blowing your hair around outside as you're walking to class. We're going to expect those tomorrow as well. We might get a little relief overnight, but seeing some heavier wind gusts in that 15 to 20 mile per hour mark Wednesday, and also as well as Thursday, we could be a bit breezy as well. So keep that in mind as you're planning your day for the rest of the week. Also in the extended forecast, we're looking to be a bit dry for those central and western portions of the U.S., so not getting a lot of rain relief in the next few days, which could play into that allergy index. Over to the southeast and the eastern portion of the U.S., seeing a lot of effects from Hurricane Helene and a lot of flood damage and storm impacts for them. So we're seeing a little bit of discrepancies across the U.S., but like I said, dry conditions, windy conditions, we're warm, picking up the allergy index, so weeds, trees, and mold all at that high level right now. Grass, medium. So allergy season isn't over quite yet. Keeping the tissues around, keeping that in mind. Unfortunately, for those allergy sufferers, we got to keep that in check. But right now, temperatures are still in that warmer range, and they're going to be picking up tomorrow. We're going to be warming up quite steadily tomorrow into the 80s. So it might feel cool as you're heading to class, but we are going to expect a high near 85 tomorrow, and then cooling down very gradually into the evening and overnight hours. Now, I teased this a little bit earlier, but when are we going to see the fall colors? Here's what everyone's kind of hoping as we start October. Right now, Oklahoma really isn't going to expect that until November is when we could see those changing in the trees. But otherwise, the rest of the U.S., we could see some leaves changing in October and really starting right now in northern portions of the U.S. and out west as well. Looking at your 7-day forecast, it's going to be warmer. Today was the coolest day in the extended forecast before we get into next week, but really seeing some upper 80s, 90s pushing through the weekend, Saturday to Sunday. 85 on Monday next week and 84 on Tuesday, so that's looking just a little bit nicer. But guys, however, it's going to be quite warm. I like to say it's not feeling like October, but more like Octoster. So how are we feeling about the first week of fall? or first week of October, I should say.
I'm excited. It is definitely October in like the most extreme level.
Yeah.
I need it to be nice, ice, and cold. I cannot
The
take
October,
this heat.
you know?
No, exactly.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
I'm totally excited for this month to unravel with the cold, with our sweaters to come up soon. So.
I know, the pumpkins, make it more Halloween-y.
Of course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All I'm doing in my sweater is sweating in it. So.
Oh, absolutely. Me too.
Thank
I
you
love
so
that.
much, Aiden. And this winter, heating your home will cost more. Energy experts expect home heating expenses in the U.S. to increase due to colder temperatures in the Northeast and Midwest. People with electrical heat will be hit the hardest with a more than 13% increase. Meanwhile, the price tag for heating with propane or natural gas will go up more than 7%. Those who heat with oil are expected to see a 6% increase. And OU football is in a bye week right now.
Brooke, what is head coach Brent Venables planning on doing this week to prepare for the Red River rivalry?
The pause in the schedule is something Venables finds very important. But while football pauses, softball hits play on the start of their Battle Series scrimmages, when and where you can watch the 4P national champions next. Hello, I'm Brooke Griggs, and it's time for sports. Oklahoma football is trying to say goodbye to the injury bug going into this much-needed bye week. The team suffered injuries across the board to key players Deion Burks, Nick Anderson, Taylor Tatum, and Kendall Dolby were on OU's latest injury report. With a week of rest, Brent Venables says health is the main focus.
The bye week comes at a good time. We got a lot of guys that are banged up, and they just kept fighting, but we got to get healthy and take on this next stretch. You know, we'll have another bye week after that, so it's important that we get mentally and physically reset, emotionally, and get better. We got to utilize a very small window. We got to utilize it the right way.
And Oklahoma men's golf are back-to-back winners after taking first at the Ben Hogan Collegiate in Fort Worth, Texas. OU beat their biggest rival Texas by 4 strokes in the final round. 3 Sooners finished in the top 8, decorating the leaderboard with crimson and cream. Ryan Hibble's squad beat 4 top 10 teams on the field. And OU's rowing fall schedule was released today, and the Sooners are ready to test the waters and start their season off with the home field advantage. The team kicks off the season in OKC at the OCU head of Oklahoma this Saturday. And OU softball dominates as the #1 team in the country, so who better to challenge them than their own teammates? The team competes in their Battle Series inter-squad scrimmage tomorrow at Love's Field. First pitch takes place at 6:30. And the diamond keeps getting shinier for Oklahoma. OU softball added top prospect Jarrell, aka Ori Melo, to their list of 2026 commits. The Hawaiian native goes to the same high school as former OU quarterback Dylan Gabriel. And the Sooner volleyball team hits the road to take on the Kentucky Wildcats. This marks the team's first SEC road game after falling to Florida last week in Norman. The match starts at 7 p.m. tomorrow night at historic Memorial Coliseum. The basketball powerhouse Gonzaga will join the Pac-12 for the 2026 season. The Bulldogs entered the round of 16 NCAA tournament 9 years in a row and reached every NCAA tournament the past 25 years, making them a valuable add-on to the conference. Sophia Chui.
Thanks, Brooke. Coming up, find out why restaurants are setting the cheapest deals and where you can dress up as your favorite food for free food.
We'll tell you all about it when OU Nightly returns.
I'm Abigail Nickel. Happening now on the South Oval, a student-led organization is promoting voter registration and their own political beliefs. The group called Turning Point USA says they have about 40 to 60 active members on OU's campus. They've spent the afternoon debating with students walking to class. They say their mission is to restore traditional American values. Sophia Chewy.
Thanks, Abigail. It's Tuesday, but it's a very special Tuesday. Not only is it Taco Tuesday, but it's National Taco Day. Many restaurants like Taco Bell and Fuzzy's are hosting deals to celebrate the holiday, such as $1 tacos, buy one, get one, and even free entrees at Chuy's if you dine in dressed as a taco. Taco deals will last rest of today and continue October 4th. I don't know how you enjoy your tacos, but I don't think that I personally can have a very hot taco on this super hot day.
You know, I love a hot taco. I'm happy it's National Taco Day, but the temperatures are going to be warming up. Today was the coolest day in the extended forecast. Looking at our 7-day right now, 90s expected throughout this weekend before we get into maybe a little bit more seasonable temperatures, but right around average for the start of October is close to that 80-degree mark. So guys, we are hot for Hot Taco Tuesday, if I can say that.
Well, thank you so much, Aiden, and thank you for watching OU Nightly.
And thank you and be sure to watch OU Nightly live weekdays at 4:30. Good night.